money. Money in KCD2 is very important. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with money, and as a matter of fact, if you want to take the most advantage of the game that the game has to offer to you, you are going to need money. Like, for example, if you want to become master on a specific given skill, like there's usually the basic, and then there's journeyman, and then there's the master skills. And how much they cost? Well, they cost each of them about 5,000 groschen. So yeah, that's quite a lucky bummer. Armor. Armor is not only going to enhance your battle prowess, but it's also going to allow you to make people to think like you want them to think, increasing your charisma. That is going to potentialize your dialogue level, and that's pretty amazing. However, armor is very expensive, because as you can see, for example, the armor that I'm using just for my clothes, as you can see right here, it's 5,000 groschen as well. The armor that I'm using for my, well, that's actually the pauldrons, and then for the, just solely the gauntlets, it's 2,000 groschen. My legs, that's 3,000 groschen. So you have an idea of how expensive armor can be. But yes, this is la creme de la creme, and this it's going to be very difficult for the enemy to kill you when you're wearing this type of armor, and it's very expensive. And yes, I did purchase this armor by using the money method that I'm about to show you right now. Now, before we actually go into the method, you are going to need a little bit of a preparation. There's a couple of things. It's not going to be that easy. Usually, to get rich in KCD1, my method, like there's many methods to get rich in Kingdom Come Deliverance. In the first game, it was killing bandits. Here, you can craft gear, you can sell the crafted gear, you can purchase crafting materials to craft very expensive gear. But I mean, that takes way too long, and it's not that exciting. I think that's not that fun. So here, we're going to be killing bandits. That's the method that I used to get rich on KCD1, because usually bandits are going to have high level of tier of gear that are going to be selling up to 5,000 piece each piece. Now, it's a little bit more tricky in here, so we're going to want to go into the map. It's going to be right here. First and foremost, you are going to have to go to the second part, the second region. Now, also, there's going to be quite a bit of fighting in here, so you do want to become quite like a master into combat. It's not going to be that difficult. The enemies in here are not that difficult, but yes, they are elite enemies, because where you're going to want to go is Sigismund's camp, as you can see right here. Like I told you, I use bandits to get filthy rich, and there's somewhat of bandits in here into this Sigismund's patrol camp. But the cool thing about this is that they are not bandits. They are quite literal soldiers from Sigismund's army, and if you kill them, they are going to have high tier pieces of gear that are going to sell up to 5,000 groschen each piece, meaning that you're going to get rich really fast. However, there's a couple of things, like I mentioned, that you're going to need. You're going to need to be able to be a proficient fighter. There's going to be a link on the video description on how I show you how to become the master swordsman on the game, how to beat everything and anything that you have in front of you. Yes, these are very tough enemies, but I do have like a guide on the little intricacies on combat, on how to defeat everyone that you have in front of you. And you don't necessarily need to be high level, you just need to know those mechanics that I show you and that I'm using throughout this rendition of the gameplay that I have for you right here, because as you can see, the enemy cannot do anything to me. The second thing is going to be repositioning, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. Then you're going to need somewhat of a good horse, so it's going to be kind of like a back and forth scenario. First, you're going to gather the stuff by yourself, but also, as you can see right here, I have also 500 pounds that I can carry with my horse, and I already did a couple of runs, so I have already sold a couple of stuff. But as you can see right here, one of the soldiers gave me this Milanese cuirass that it sells for about 6,000 groschen, and yeah, ideally when you're looting, you're going to want to be looking for the most expensive stuff that these guys are going to throw at you, and but yeah, we'll get into that in a little while. Just note that each soldier, you're going to want to be able to carry all of the stuff that they are going to give you, or that you're going to be able to loot from them, you want to be able to pick up that stuff from them. And you cannot just go back and forth between Gutenberg and the camp and the enemy encampment, because that's the beauty of this method. The enemies in here respawn, so you can repeat this as much as you want to purchase all of the skills that you want to purchase the best mounts that you want to, the best armor. Like, you can just quite literally farm this place and you're going to be immensely rich. So let's talk about the farming of the place first, after that I told you all about that. The enemies in here are to some extent spread out. It's very useful to have one very specific skill if you want to. It's also better to come here at night because some of the enemies are going to be sleeping, and you're also going to be able to spot them because of their torches. But also one of the skills that you are going to want to have to be able to make this a little bit easier is the tight grip, because this is going to increase the chance that you have to be able to knock down enemies without them alerting other people, because you're not going to want to rush into the open area of the village. That's not what you're going to want to do. Ideally, if you can knock them out, or you can use a dagger to stealth kill them, that's ideal. That's the ideal scenario. But even I, that I have nearly 20 strength, even I sometimes miss the prompt to be able to knock them down. So what is it that I do? Well, I follow them for a little while, and you will see that the ones that are patrolling the surrounding areas of the village, it's usually one or two of them, and they go to like the several different entrances that the village have. You'll be able to notice them a little bit easier if you do this at night. So if they spot you, what you're going to want to do is run away as far as you can so that you can start fighting with them. Sometimes one of them or two of them are going to follow you, but if they spot you on the edge of the village and then you run away from that edge of the village towards the outside, the open field, none of the enemies that are inside of the village are going to follow you. So this is going to give you a chance to be able to fight them in front of them without having to care about the rest of them that you have on the village. And that's ideally what you're going to want to do. Now, remember that when you're looting them, just first, if you don't have like that much of an amazing carrying capacity like I do so myself in here, have in mind that just take the ones that are like most expensive. Take the things that not all of them are going to say that they are like 5,000 and things like that, because they are worn out. You you damaged them while you were fighting against them. But yeah, ideally take the things that are up to 2,000 or 1,000, 1,500. And if you feel that you have a little bit more space, yeah, you can probably take the stuff that it's like 500 and things like that. Now, how do we sell that? Where do we actually ideally want to sell it? On Gutenberg, of course. In the tricky thing, and this is something that a lot of games like this suffer from, this little malatai that you have in here. The merchants, even the ones that have the premium armor, weapons and gear, they do not have that much money. Usually they are going to have 800 groschen. So yeah, you're going to have to be selling piece by piece. My advice is that if you're going to upgrade your character, purchase very, very strong high level tier gear like I did so myself. Then you purchase that stuff first. You're going to spend like about 10,000 or 15,000, and just with the gear that you got from one trip in here is going to be enough for you to be able to purchase all of that and have a little extra. Once you have purchased everything that you want for your character, once you have purchased everything that you want for your horse, and you want to start piling up the money on itself without having to actually give the merchants money for you to be able to buy back that money, then you're going to want to do kind of like a walk in here. There's an armor right here, that's one. There's also a weaponsmith right here. You want to make sure that they are the ones that are inside of these buildings, because the ones that are outside right here, they usually have like 200 or 300 groschen, which is not ideal. You don't want to be selling a 5k piece to 200. Ideally you want to get like 800 at least for that. Anyways, there's one right here, there's one right here, there's one right here, there's another one right here. There's another one right here, there's another one right here, and there's another one right here. So ideally that's like 7 of them that if we round up numbers, it's going to give you about 6k per day, and then you can rest. And once you have rested enough and you rinse and repeat the process, if you run out of gear that you can sell, which is going to, like I said, give you like 7k per day, then you come back to this place where we are farming, and they are going to respawn, which is just delightful and lovely. Once you get acquainted with the area, and once it's going to be a little bit tricky at first, and if you don't have like the grip of the combat system, that's going to be a little bit more trickier as well. You can also kill them with mounted combat, which is very, very useful and very powerful as well. Like, there's many ways that you can go about this, but yeah, I mean, this is like the best method that I've found so far to get money easy and to be able to purchase all of those expensive stuff that you need to purchase in the game. Anyways, if you like the content, like and never super appreciate it, and also you that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, subscribe to the channel, you're in Discord, have a beautiful day, goodbye.